This is Mortgage Lending Mastery. Get the knowledge you need from America's mortgage mentor with more than 35 years of experience and over $1 billion in lifetime fundings. You'll learn to advance your mortgage practice quickly and efficiently. Also, be sure to check out Jen's book, Launch: How to Take Your Business to New Heights, available on Amazon. For a signed copy, contact Jen at jenduplessis.com. Now, here is certified mortgage planner and CEO of Kinetic Spark Consulting, Jen Du Plessis.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to this episode. I am delighted that you have joined us today. And by the way, if this is your first time, thank you so much for joining us. We welcome you to our community. We hope that you find that your time spent with us today is beneficial to your personal and professional growth. And if you have been with us numerous times, thank you so much for your support and your continued support. And I ask you, please pay this forward and share it with one of your colleagues who you feel could benefit from listening to our show as well. Today, we have a great guest. Her name is Lyons, and I love this opportunity to introduce you to her. She began her career as a teacher before moving into the dreaded corporate world that we all are experiencing or trying to get out of these days. Where she learned marketing, sales, graphics, and design, and realizing corporate work wasn't where she wanted to be. She began working for a small startup business and gained the knowledge and experience to run a business of her own. And she saw how these long hours, does that sound familiar? These long hours, saw risks that everybody was taking and said, what can we do to make this simpler for people to get their message out to the real world? So she's taken it's taken her over 30 years of small business ownership experience and developed a boutique business helping small business owners with web design and marketing. So welcome to our show here today, Lori. So happy to have you.
Oh, thank you, Jen. I'm so excited to be here. So this is going to be fun. Been looking forward to this.
We're going to have fun. Yeah, we're both chatty Cathy, so it's good. One of the best things that I love about your business is that it's called Ignite Marketing, which is I think I mentioned to you when we met at New Media Summit that oh my gosh, this is so cool because this is one of my high-level programs with my clients is the Ignite Mastermind program. So it's so fitting that we should be, spending time together today. So
it was fate.
It was. It definitely was.
Yes.
It definitely was. So tell us a little bit about what upsets you as it relates to marketing that you're seeing in today's marketplace, because I'm sure you could just hop on a soapbox for us right here.
Ooh,
this is what drives me crazy.
And how much time do we have?
Yes.
I think the biggest thing that drives me crazy is everybody feels like they have to do everything, and this is the only way you can do this, and this is the only, and everybody in digital world is bazillionaires. So, right. And they forget to tell you, it's sometimes it's just going back to the basics, and it's just plain and simple hard work and long hours. It's, it would be great if we could all just post stuff on the internet and money would flow in. But unfortunately, very few of us does that happen too. So I think that's the biggest thing is just not setting a good expectation for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think that defeats people too. Don't you? That, I've tried this and I've tried that and this shiny object, and they told me to do it this way. And they said, use hashtags, and they said, don't use hashtags. Right. And they said, use 30, and they said, don't go more than 5. And, it's all these missed messages and all this white noise that we're hearing out there that makes people just finally say, you know what, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. They're paralyzed by the overwhelm. Not the over-analysis, but the overwhelm. And I think that's such a disservice to small business owners because it can be very simple and it can be fun and it can, just really, for me, it really floats my boat because there's a lot that you can do out there that is very simple, and you can keep it minimal and not drive yourself crazy and still make money in this world because there's enough for everybody to go around.
I love it. Okay, well, let's get right down to it. Let's talk about what are some of the things that we need to be doing, a small business owner, someone who is a salesperson, like a mortgage person, or a real estate agent, to make their marketing simple. I mean, do we throw away things? Is this a process of analysis first, or is it a process of just throw everything away and start over?
Both. I mean, both can be very valuable, and here's why. And I use the analogy of a professional athlete.
Mhm.
Let's say a golfer, because they're very known for their coaching.
Mhm.
If something is not working in their swing, they get a new coach. They change tactics. And what happens when they get this new coach is they go right back to basics. They start with their stance, they start with the way they hold a golf club, they start with their grip, and those are very basic things for a golfer. But you would think that a golfer that's making millions of dollars a year on the pro tour, why would they go back to that? Because you have to fix the basics.
Yeah.
So for a small business owner to sit back and analyze, to your point, analyze who their ideal target market is. It all goes back to that. Basic marketing goes back to who your ideal client is and how you serve them. And so that's where the analysis comes in. And sometimes that changes. If you're a real estate agent or you're a mortgage broker, as things move around you and heaven knows the economy changes, your market could change and your target market could change and your ideal client could change. And unless you sit back and take a look and say, who am I really attracting today, or who am I really looking at, then it may pass you by, and you may not even be aware that your target has changed. So I tell my clients to start from the basics and start from the beginning.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point too, for specifically in professions that change. As a small business owner, I mean, one of the things that I always I think all the time is I just want to set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there are certain aspects of your business that are live, living things, and that need readdressed all the time. So it's going back to the basics. What are some of the basics in today's world?
Yeah, and it's funny because the last time I looked, most of our clients were live. So we need to treat them and remember that. Yeah.
That's right.
But if we look at really what we do, and this is a great example I use quite often with my clients, is if you're a realtor to your market, is you don't sell 3 bedrooms and a kitchen and a couple of bathrooms. What you sell to your clients is you sell memories. You sell education for your students, for your kids, by what schools they go to. You sell a social life, because a lot of times our neighbors are who we socialize with. So there's a lot more that you sell than just brick and mortar homes or brick and whatever homes they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we forget that. We forget that we are not just selling to people, we're selling to what they need. And if you go back and you think, what is my sweet spot? What do I really do? Then I think that'll take you a long way in identifying who your target is and so forth, and going from there.
Yeah, that's excellent. So do you think we need to have a large net, a small net, or multiple nets?
Multiple nets. I think we have multiple nets, and they can be small multiple nets with a large one thrown in here and there, because marketing today is, even though I talk about keeping it simple all the time, there are a lot of moving parts to it. So how do we keep it simple, and how do we identify what is going to be right for us and for our company and for our clients? And if we look at it, just hit maybe the top 3 points of what you do and how you offer services to your clients, and focus on those, because you can market those in a number of different ways. So let's say let's go back to our realtor point, that is offering memories or offering an education to the children that they're selling to. They can market to the different school systems in all the different places and talk about what you look for in a school system. You could talk about class size. You can talk about what kind of activities are available for the students in that area, for their children in that area. That's all marketing things that you can do, and probably will set you apart, because most realtors are not doing that. And I'm focusing a lot on realtors because I know that's a big part of your market.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
And that sets you apart.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what I see with most realtors is that they're taking pictures at closing with the sold sign, and they're showing their new listing.
Yeah.
And that's it. I see that kind of bouncing back and forth. And of course, with loan officers, I'm seeing, rates are low, rates are high.
Right. Right.
Right.
Right.
Pre-qualify. And so I love that allows you to expand on your content too, because that's something that everyone, always says is I don't have enough content. And I
Right.
totally don't agree with that, because I know that you can build content any minute.
Oh, sure.
I have definitely different ways that I do it. But the building, the content that builds it around something that's unique and different and highlights you, as somebody who's different and unique,
Oh, absolutely.
And
And for your mortgage, oh, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Okay.
For your mortgage people, if they look at what they do, they, granted they work with a lot of realtors and homeowners and stuff like that. But if you're looking about maybe you're a mortgage company who deals strictly with first-time buyers, there's so much content you can write around first-time buyers or downsizers. Gosh, what can you do with downsizing? And from a mortgage perspective, how do you work and what do you do? Wow, there's so much out there that you can do. And the little small nets are the different places that you put it. So you identify where your market is on, for example, social media. We were chatting earlier. You said, do you have to do social media? Well, kind of today you do. Yeah. So how do you do it without driving yourself crazy? And one of the ways that you do it is you don't have to do all the platforms that are out there. I think the last count I saw was there was like 384 platforms or something.
Which is funny because I think I know 4.
Yeah, exactly. And so if you look at where your market is and LinkedIn is having a resurgent. I listened to Gary Vaynerchuk the other day talking about LinkedIn is the next big thing, which is like, well, LinkedIn's been, coming and going, but for professionals and, if your clients are high-end professionals, the average salary on LinkedIn is something like, 125,000 for professionals. That's pretty, that's a pretty good market to go after.
Yeah. Most of the average of, the country. So
yeah,
that's definitely worth it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely one way to make it simple because, just become an expert in one particular platform,
right.
Dabble in the others, but just become an expert in one particular platform as well as niching, right?
Yes.
That's basically what it is that we're just, niching in there. And I know there's a scarcity in that. And I think that's what creates some of that overwhelm is, that other people will be passing by while I'm playing with my niche and I won't get anything else. But the bottom line is you're going to get everything because you attract everything.
Exactly. And just because it's your niche doesn't mean you won't sell to outside of your niche. Oh no, you're not in my niche. I can't sell to you. That's crazy because we're all going to do that. But yeah, it's strictly who you speak to and how you speak to them is what your niche is.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. So what are some other things that we can be doing? And I'm thinking, and I'm going to direct a little bit here and then you can just tell the other things that I'm not even aware of. Right.
Okay.
But it's a timing issue, right? Do I go on, and I don't want to, just ask all these questions, but I'm saying from a simplistic standpoint, what is the best way to make it simple to get my message out, right? Whether it's social media, whether it's sponsorships at a local networking event that's going on. I mean, what's the simplest way instead of us feeling like, we're trying to get our feelers out there and we have to be everywhere. Is there a way to be everywhere without being everywhere?
Well, the best way to be everywhere without being everywhere is social media because you can be everywhere, and put it out there. But again, it's, pick your platform and it's pick what works best for you and what's comfortable for you. The beauty of today is there really are no rules. So if somebody says you have to do this, well, no, I don't. I want to do this because it fits in what I'm doing and I can keep this simple and it will work for me. My main business is websites. Yeah. And while I firmly believe that every business for a lot of reasons needs a website, it can be a simple one-pager. You don't have to have a 400-page website with everything that and everybody on it. It can be a simple one-pager because what to keep in mind is social media is the soundbite. They get the full story on your website. So this is where you can post blogs, even though it's a one-pager, you can still have blogs, you can still put content out there, you can write, and again, we're kind of getting away from what is simple because half of the audience will go, oh, I can do that. And the other half of the audience will go, blog? Oh no, I got to write.
Website thing. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there are so many options, and even with the websites, you can there are websites now where you can build your own. You drag and drop a few boxes, and it's better than not having anything at all.
Yeah.
So keep it as simple as you can. All you got to remember is you're talking to your target market, and you're talking about problems and solutions that you solve. So what are the problems that they have? What are the solutions that you solve? And you can't get it any simpler than that.
Yeah.
It's just the medium and where you put those messages that can get overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of people also think that they know what the problems are, and how do I want to say this? I know what loan officer problems are. I've been a loan officer. I get it.
Yeah.
But the words that my clients use are different than the words that I may have used when I retired, right? Because when I retired, I was at a totally different level than when I started out, right?
Yes.
And I think it's really important to not only know your target avatar, right, but also the different levels or phases that avatar is going through. And I think that those challenges and those problems are different. For example, when you're brand new, you just want leads.
Right.
That's your problem.
Yeah.
And when you get leads, now it's, my system isn't working because I can't handle the leads, right? And then it's, oh my gosh, it's growing and I need to hire people. And I don't know how to do that because I've never done that, right? And so these problems constantly change. So I think, to keep it simple, this is where you were saying cast a big net, a small net, and segmented nets. Because in that case, you might need to, say, for example, are you a business owner? Yes. Great. Then do I want to talk to all business owners? Or do I want to say, are you a business owner who has less than 5 employees? Now I'm segmenting the market, right?
Right. Or you've been in business less than 5 years, less than 5 employees, and you can whittle it down and narrow it down.
Oh yeah, to keep going.
Yes, and keep going. And the more, but then again, the more you go, the scarier it gets, because all of a sudden you're feeling like, I just threw out half the people in the world.
And that's okay, because you don't have time to talk to them.
Exactly. There's a lot of people out there. Yes.
Yeah.
And and you brought up something also a second ago that I want to point out, is you were talking about the language that you use.
Mm-hmm.
So if you talk in your client's language, I had a client just recently where we're building her a website, and we were talking about the different ways. And it's going to be very photo heavy, and because it's a very visual medium. So we were talking about the different ways to segment it, and she said, "Well, this is on person." She was a floral company. It's an on person floral arrangement. I said, "Well, your clients wouldn't know that, so we're going to call it, attendant bouquets," because that's what people know. Or, so on person means you're putting them actually on yourself, corsages or boutonnieres or something. So so it was that, no, we have to talk in what your clients are looking for, because they'll never get that. And I think that goes across every industry. I find myself doing it myself. When I'm talking about marketing, and as much as I try to keep it simple, you get into marketing speak or whatever you do speak, and it gets easy to go back to the language. So we want to make sure.
And I think that's really important to, listen to the exact verbiage that they use. I'm trying to think of the example recently, but I just had a client on the phone, and I've used somewhat of the same verbiage because it's very common anyway, but but she just said to me, I said, well, what are you struggling with? She goes, the bottom line is my business just runs me.
Oh yeah.
And so that's a great question. Does your business just run you? And I had been saying, do you run your business, or do you own your business, or does your business own you?
Yes.
Hers is about, my business is running me. That's a completely different concept of ownership versus what's happening on a day-to-day basis, which implies overstressed, overwhelmed, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And it resonates totally different. Okay, so what are some other simple things that we could be doing to make it simpler to execute?
Planning ahead. And if we sit down and we plan ahead, and there again, people tend to go, oh, I have to plan this stuff. I can't just be spontaneous and off the cuff. And well, yeah, you could, there's a certain amount of that with social media. That's a good thing. But if you sit down and you plan it out and you just take your time, then there's a lot of comfort in knowing that you know what's going to come next. And you can be aware and be on the lookout for marketing tips and tools that will help you and your clients. So if I plan it out into, I hesitate to use the word editorial calendar because that's so scary and it's not simple.
And that's
But
your language.
Exactly, that's my language. But what an editorial calendar does is it just breaks down, and you can do this on a simple Excel spreadsheet or Google Doc or whatever you use, and you just break down the 12 months of the year. And then within that 12 months of the year, you break down the weeks of the month. So you've got 12 months, 4 weeks, and just say, this month I'm going to talk to, my content is going to be first-time home buyers. So within those different weeks, those 4 different weeks, I'm going to do how to get a loan for a first time. What kind of paperwork do you need for a first-time loan buyer? What are my options? What do I do once I get my house?
Yeah.
And there's 4 weeks of content, and boom, all of a sudden you've chunked it down. That old saying of how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. We're going to take it 1 week at a time, 1 month at a time, and 1 day at a time. And that makes it simple. And then you can be on the lookout for things. If you know what's coming up next, then you can be on the lookout for some fun marketing stuff that you can use. You can watch for fun memes, or you can watch for quotes, or even photo opportunities that you can save that look spontaneous, but maybe they're not quite. So.
Yeah. And I was smiling when you were saying that because, I think it's an accountability thing too. It guarantees implementation, when you know that you're having, in my example, an event, in March or April or whatever, everything that I'm doing every day is, hey, do you want to come to the event? Do you want to come to the event?
Right.
And so it's just picking, that reticular activator is alert for yourself. I think the other side, the flip side of that is because it is, laid out for the entire year. If there's a major shift in the market, it gives you the opportunity to know where to place it as well.
Right. And I even advise if a year is overwhelming, then look at 6 months. Mm-hmm. If you still feel that that tightening of your throat over 6 months, do it for a quarter.
Yeah.
If that absolutely doesn't work, at least do it for a month.
Yeah.
And then say, when I'm 2 weeks into this next month, then I'm going to do my next month. And eventually you'll start working out once you get the hang of it. It really doesn't take that much time. And it can be a very simple, very strong marketing tool that you can use, because then it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you know where your marketing's going.
Yeah. Well, and I'm sure you've heard of the 12-week year, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, each week represents a full month in the year. Putting together something like this and actually doing it, most likely you're going to get the kind of results in 12 weeks that you would normally have gotten in a full year of doing random acts of marketing.
Yes. You just created a new term. Love that. So stealing that. Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. And it's, if we let ourselves get caught up in the overwhelm of what we should do, mm-hmm. then we won't do anything. So we want to make sure that we're not caught up in that we're taking a step back. Sometimes taking a step back in your business and looking at all those basics, like I said earlier, who your target market is, what problems do you solve, look at them with a fresh eye, talk to somebody about them and say, here's what I'm thinking. What do you think? Give me some feedback on this. Those are so simple, and they don't cost a thing for anybody to add to their marketing.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you don't know what their problems are and you want to be the solution, it's like coming in and dumping out your toolbox and saying, pick a tool to solve your problem versus, just taking the time to ask them, are you, and that's a great question. I mean, these days on social media, everybody's asking questions, are you thinking about buying your first home? If so, what are some of the concerns or struggles that you have? And let them respond. And there's your content right there. Once you see the thread of it. Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I did this not too long ago on my Facebook page. And I said, if a fairy godmother could come in, and I had a little picture of the Cinderella fairy godmother, who I love, could come in and do something with, help you with your marketing. I can't remember exactly how I worded it, but it was crickets.
Oh, really?
I had one person respond, and I was trying to get engagement going, so I was responding back, and I said, so you think you don't have enough time? And so sometimes it's just the way you word it, or the
Yeah.
timing of when you did it. So don't let the fact that you don't get any response. Try it again and reword it in a different way, or post it at a different time, or even take it to a whole nother platform. So it's, I think people tend to get discouraged, like, well, I put this out there, or, those that go to a network. Well, I went to a networking event and I didn't get any leads, so I stopped going. Well, social media is the same way. If you don't be consistent with it,
right,
and, just in simple ways, then it can come back to bite you a little bit. So
that's awesome. How often should someone be executing on marketing online? As far as
depends on what,
posting and stuff, is that ever? I mean, and I don't want to get into the weeds of it, yes, no, hashtags, no, whatever. But if we're keeping it simple, what's the minimum I could do to make an impact?
It depends on which platform you're in. So there we're going into the weeds a little bit. But I would say if you're looking at 2 to 3 times a week consistently, it's not necessarily how much, it's being more consistent. If you're only going to post once a week, post like every Monday morning or every Tuesday morning. And there's all kind of analytics that will tell you what's the best time to post. I don't know if there is any best time to post anymore, because if you look here, you get one opinion. If you look here, you get another opinion. So I would say post what works for you, but post it consistently. That's the bigger key. If you're just posting, if you're going to post here on Tuesday and then you don't think about it for another 3 or 4 weeks, then you're not consistent. People don't know what to expect.
Yeah,
so
and that's why it's important to have the calendar. So just to recap on it, it's like, back up a little bit, do an assessment on who your target markets are, the couple target markets that you want to address. Making sure that you know how what their problems are and what your solution is, so you can prepare yourself to go to the next level. And then what are the solutions that you're going to provide to them in a calendarized manner, right? Mm-hmm. And then also putting on your calendar, right on your calendar to do the posts, because if you won't remember, you have to be on your calendar. You have to schedule them to be on your calendar.
Yes, or take advantage of some of the scheduling tools that are out there that are free, that work, that are simple for you. And different minds think different ways. There are some social media posters that they don't work for my brain. But then there are others that are very simple. So you just kind of have to look and see what's out there for you.
That's awesome. Okay, any last overall, one big tip that you want to give to everybody that we haven't discussed today that you think would really, really help people?
To keep it simple, I would say to step back. We've talked about stepping back, but step back and take a look. It's a great time to do it. It's the end of the year, end of the decade, heaven forbid. Start planning. Just simply plan and evaluate where you've been, what's worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, what can you recirculate, because there's a lot of talk about evergreen.
Yes.
Evergreen is fine. Go back and look at what you've done and update it and make it more current. That's a simple way to do it, and it saves you time, because you don't have to go and totally revise it. If you had a post 3 years ago, let's say on your business Facebook page, go back and find that photo, maybe tweak the saying just a little bit to make it current, or put 2020 on it and use it again. That's a huge tool to save time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. I mean, it's something that I'll be honest, I haven't put in place because I'm not consistent online. I'm just not, because I'm doing this all day.
Right. But this is your online. This is your content.
It is, but I'm not consistent and going, hey, everybody, I'm at the grocery store, I'm getting donuts. I'm not consistent at any of that stuff. I'm not consistent at it. And I wish that I was, more, but I think that that's a really important part, is making sure. And so I really appreciate that you shared that with everyone, just to step back and make the planning happen, because I preach that, but I don't do it. And that's the honest God's truth. It's just not a priority for me, because I do it different ways, and
Totally
I,
understand that.
yeah. I mean, I've picked my platform, right?
Mhm.
That's kind
Yeah,
of what it is. I mean, I dabble in the other platforms, but
yeah,
my platform is face-to-face relationships, and that's
right.
just how that's the platform I picked. So,
And you know what? And that's perfectly okay. I would not beat yourself up over the fact that you're not consistent on social media.
yeah, I'm not.
There's a gentleman whose only platform is YouTube,
Yeah,
and he has I can't. Actually doesn't live too far from here. He's great. I love. He's a men's lifestyle guy. My son, who's 22, loves him and watches him, and I sit there and watch him with him because I think he's cute as a button, and I love what he does.
yeah.
I just love all of his marketing and stuff, and all he does is YouTube.
Isn't that crazy?
That's
What's
it.
his
Yeah.
topic? Or is he affiliate? He just sells everybody else's product.
No. His name is if it's okay, his name is Alpha M, Aaron Marino, and he posts 5 days a week and has for like 8 years. And yes, every day he does his own editing. He usually it's gotten to be like a top 10 of men's lifestyle. It can be clothing, it can be I mean he talks about everything men related, and I mean everything men related. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. It's great.
That's crazy, because I would think, okay, after a while I'd run out of content, but there you go. That's a perfect
Oh yeah,
example of the fact that there's so much content out there, and I think repurposing other people's content is
oh
also
yeah,
good, right? And not just
absolutely.
your own. So if you don't have your own, but you see an article that you love, or you see a post that you love, and you just want to share and say, hey, this really hit me home, hit home for me, or it hit me
Right.
hard, and I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a change in my life or whatever. I think that still gives you the authority, because it's a proximity, right? It's a
Absolutely.
authority.
Absolutely. And how flattering is that for the person who wrote the
Oh, believe
article or
me.
did? Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
we're going to send it out to everybody.
Absolutely. And let me know that that's happened.
Yeah.
And oh
That's
yeah, I
those
mean,
ego bites.
yes, it's the eco bites. It's also a really good marketing strategy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just to compliment other people. Yeah, I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Well,
Yeah.
so my last question to you today is, what are you reading right now, and how is it
Oh,
impacting you?
I'm actually reading a book called Instagram Underground. I think it's the secrets to Instagram, and it's actually a couple of years old. And I just how when you're on Amazon or they'll give you the
Yeah.
suggested
Yeah.
reading, and I
Yeah.
clicked on it and I thought, huh. So I started reading this, and as it turns out, the gentleman who wrote it, there's a lot of good hint tips in it, but I kept trying to find him on Instagram, and he's no longer around.
Oh,
So don't go get the book.
yeah.
But there's a lot in there, and part of me is the stubbornness to keep finishing it. But
Yeah.
I just finished binge reading Mark Schaefer, who I adore and I love. He's my marketing crush. His newest book is called The Marketing Rebellion, and he has several really good marketing books out there, and most of them I probably should. He probably wouldn't like me to say this, or you can get on Amazon Prime Unlimited, Kindle Unlimited. But
Right.
he has a book called No. He has a book called about content. He has one on Twitter. But the Marketing Rebellion was really good in that it just talks about where we are with marketing today, and a lot of the things that we've talked about today, as far as just how unsettled the marketing world is, and
Yeah.
it's unsettled in that you can it's not just you go buy an ad in Yellow Pages and you wait for the phone to ring. That was pretty
Right.
simple. Or you put an ad on TV, which a lot of business could afford, or you put an ad in a magazine or a newspaper. So you had print or media, and that's about it.
Right.
So today it's, it could be anything. So
Yeah, it could be anything at all. Okay, well, wonderful. Well, thank you so
you're
much
very
for
welcome.
joining us today and helping us to make our marketing just a little more simple. And there's a little relief in my mind. It's like, because we've had a lot of people on the podcast that talk about social media and what to do, and I think go back and listen to all of those podcasts, and absorb the things that resonate with you, and let the others go.
Yes.
Let them go, but go back and get ideas, because we've talked a lot about videos. We've talked a lot about interviewing people on videos. You're talking about consistency of posting and avatars. So there's a lot of information there. I would go back and listen to some of these podcasts that we have in this show, and just choose those that are more resonant, that not resonant, but more that resonate with you and align with your avatar and your style, and then move forward with just one for now and test it for a while until you can get, some better results, but make sure you're actually doing it. That's the key thing. So, Lori, how do we get a hold of you if someone, what you've said is something that someone says, I really have to talk to Lori. I've got to be in touch with her and get to know her better, and maybe she can help you.
Yes. My website is ignitingyourbusiness.com, and I have a freebie for everybody, a little gift for everybody, that if they'll go to ignitingyourbusiness.com/success, there's three things that you can do immediately to shift your momentum. I can't say it in your business and your marketing in your business. Maybe I should change the title of something I can say, but and all my social media links are on that page as well. So I won't take the time today with your audience because it's a podcast, but all my links are on that. So if you go to ignitingyourbusiness.com/success, they will find every way they can reach me right there.
That's great. And if you're not watching the video and you want to go in and watch a video, on her picture or on her screen here where she's talking, we have that same link. So you can click right into that link and go and find that information. Well, thank you so much for the gift. The 3 simple shifts to gain momentum in your business. Can't wait to find out what those are all about, and appreciate so much you coming on and sharing your wealth with our group. And I hope that someone reaches out to you and makes a change and a shift in their business as well.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Jenna. It's been fun. I always enjoy talking marketing, and especially with somebody in a little bit different field. Mortgage and real estate is really cool. So thank you for having me on. I've enjoyed it.
Of course, you're welcome. Well, again, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today and giving us some of your time today. And I just encourage you to please go rate and review us so that we can continue to grow. And as always, please pay this forward by sharing it with your colleagues so that they can learn how they, in this case, can simplify their marketing efforts. So go out and make it a great day, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you for listening to Mortgage Lending Mastery. Looking to streamline and launch your practice by accessing Jen's tools, courses, classes, presentations, and resources? Visit JenDuPlessis.com to learn about the features and benefits thousands of other professionals have experienced by enrolling in Jen's lifetime membership program. Isn't it about time you consider a coach to take your business to new heights? Contact Jen to start your application process today. Thanks again, and be sure to tune in next week.